Hello and good evening. Happy Friday to all of you out there. It is 7 p.m. on 3/24/2023, and we are gathered here this evening to honor our friend and teacher and mentor and the work of Jordan Maxwell. Joining me this evening will be Micah Dank. And I wonder if those in the audience were with us last year, just after Jordan had passed, and was at the memorial with us that we did last year. And in some of the places that we are streaming to this evening, that original program is linked below. So you can join in all of the Jordan Maxwell goodness. So this is our second year, and it's remembrance is the correct term for what we're doing this evening. And this was the brainchild of author Micah Dank. And so I would like to look at the chats a little bit. Okay, so we have gone live on Rockfin. And I'm saying hello to everyone in the chats over on Rockfin, YouTube, and Twitter. I am Occult Priestess from occultpriestess.com. And I see that our YouTube channel is working quite well. Looks good. Do you like my living room? Ha ha ha. My virtual background. And so the lighting will be changing in here because we had a beautiful sunny day here in South Carolina, and the sun has not gone down yet. And I've checked. Let me check sound. I see that. Looks good. Okay, so I've checked everything, and it looks like our co-host has joined us, Micah Dank. And what I'm going to do is put him on hold. It's like the military. Hurry up and wait. So we're going to go through a little bit of a countdown here. I just wanted to pop on and show you that we will be live this evening so that there's no Inception type confusion when we play clips from last year. This is not a replay of last year's video, but I have collected some clips from it. So for now, we are welcoming Micah Dank. Say hi to him in the chat room, please. And I'm going to begin our countdown.
Now that I've lost everything to you, say you want to start something new, and it's breaking my heart you're leaving. Baby, I'm grieving. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Baby, I love you, but if you wanna leave, take good care. Hope you make a lot of nice friends out there, but just remember there's a lot of bad hands. Beware. It's a wild world, and it's hard to get by just upon a smile. Oh, baby, baby, it's a wild world, and I'll always remember you like a child girl. Oh, baby, baby, it's a wild world.
We have two guests coming on this evening, who all three of us have personal stories to share about the man and the work that we're here to honor tonight. And that would be Jordan Maxwell. And so this is our night, guys. This is our night as a community to come together and in memoriam and to remember a man some of us have met and others of us have known through his work and had his voice in our mind, guiding us, helping us to understand this time and place that we have incarnated into. And of course, he was a warrior. in exposing corruption, especially in politics in Washington, D.C., and American politics. I learned a lot from Jordan's work, What a Legend, as emotional and intuitive humans, that we need ceremony to help us get through, especially as a community. So I just wanted to say hello to everyone and that I'm here, and we're going to have a little countdown. If you do know a Jordan Maxwell friend or fan, please invite them to join us for this stream or share the link with them so that they may enjoy it later. Okay, guys.
The Statue of Liberty must be put in water. It could not be put on American land as such. It had to be put in the harbor because it's not the Statue of Freedom. These words are very important. When you go into a court, what's the idea of going to court? It's a game, like basketball. The whole idea in a court is to put the ball back in the other guy's court. But the judge is a referee between two teams. The judge, that we are told, rules from the bench. The word bench in Latin is a bank. Therefore, the judge rules for the bank. All ships are referred to as female. Airships, rocket ships, sailing ships are always female. Why? There's a very good reason. Maritime admiralty banking law says all ships are female. On a ship, all ships have a captain. The word captain comes from a Latin word capital, money. So the captain represents the money that's on board the ship. The ship is sitting in its berth. Wherever a ship sits when it docks is called its berth. She sits in her berth, berthing a ship. This is why you have to have a birth certificate, because you are a maritime admiralty product under international law. You are considered, your body is considered a maritime admiralty product. Therefore, you have to have a death certificate, and it's always signed by the dock. The dock has to sign your birth certificate and your death certificate. All of these words and terms are maritime admiralty banking words. And therefore, if you understand, lawyers and judges and courts and government are all under international maritime admiralty law. All religions, all churches in the world operate under maritime law. This is why all churches are divided into denominations, like 20s and 50s and 100s. Serious. This is why they're called denominations, because all churches are nothing more than the product of maritime admiralty banking. It's an extraordinary story of occult treason, high treason and crimes against the state. Make no mistake about it, there has never been a country on the face of the earth as far back into history as you can go. There has never existed a country in which the people rose up and demanded their right to be free. Never. The concept of human, spiritual, intellectual, and physical freedom is a totally concept that has never, ever existed on the earth. The only time that has ever come into existence was the founding of this country, where it was understood that we were sovereigns and we owned our bodies, and consequently, since 1868, we're now on the International Maritime Admiralty Law.
Well, my goodness, it looks like the gang's all here right on time. So I was expecting my guests a little bit later.
I'm True Seeker, for those of you who don't know. Spiritual, esoteric hip hop artist and author, entrepreneur, meditation guru, spiritual experiencer, psychonaut, all those cool things. TrueSeeker.com. That's who I am. Who's this guy?
Who's this guy? I'm Micah Dank. I literally just rolled off another podcast and came here. I'm an astrotheologist. Jordan Maxwell has completely changed my life. I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't have an 8-book series dedicated to it. I wouldn't be currently with my publicist pitching it to TV heads to try and bring it awaken to the masses if it wasn't for him. That's it. I'm an author. I don't rap.
And welcome. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Hello, Micah Dank. Could you please welcome yourself and tell our audience all about you?
Hi, Priestess. So I'm Micah Dank. Lots happened in a year, but I'm an astrotheologist, and Jordan was the first person that opened my eyes to this, and it was like a light bulb went off. Then I realized that's what I had to do. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to make my life about. And it has gone so deep into the kind of things that I found. I have a YouTube channel where I just basically share all this stuff. I'm in the process of going through the Bible book by book. It's all outlined already. I just have to make videos for it. So I make these PowerPoint presentations so you can watch the videos and follow along. And I just, do a lot of podcasts and just share my information with people. But it seems like a lot of people are starting to see my work, and I'm completely thrilled. And I just have to say, Priestess, is the editing jobs that you do and just the way that you just make this so warm and loving when you do this is just unlike any other podcast I've ever been on. I absolutely adore coming on.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much also for the idea. This whole thing was your brainchild.
Yeah. And I texted you earlier. I said, we have to get into the habit of doing this every year.
Yep, it's going to be an annual thing. I have agreed to it. And this evening we are missing our friend True Seeker, but we will be seeing him in the clips. And also, we've got quite a few people watching already. I'm really shocked, but we have 12 people on Rockfin, and we've got people over there on YouTube already commenting. So hello, everyone. We are live, and we are showing.
I forgot about the YouTube. I have to pull up the YouTube.
Yeah, you can go ahead and do that. And of course, there's comments in the StreamYard window. But I wanted to say hi to my Rockfinners. I want to say hi to Nick Duchesne. How are you doing, sweetheart? We should catch up. And excuse me, I'm a little verklempt. Tom Cooper is in the chat, which is totally awesome. Tom, I emailed you today. And Death to Tyrants, I think maybe I also emailed you today, too. Today was my catch-up day. So you might have emailed me a week ago, but okay. So it's great to have you gentlemen in the chat. And there's a lady over there on YouTube, if you're interested. So how was your day today? How have you planned for this evening, Micah?
Just basically clearing my mind. Tomorrow is actually my 5th-year wedding anniversary. It's my 5-year. We had a sketch done of us when I took her to Paris to meet my mom, and when we got engaged, and we had one of the street artists draw something, and it just sat in a tube for 5 years. So 5 years is wood. So I figured I'd get it framed. So I did. I just got back from it, and
That is
that's where
so
we're at.
romantic. I just have to say, it's very romantic.
I asked her to marry me on top of the Eiffel Tower, which is tacky, you think, right? Is it? Is that
No,
tacky?
it's a celebration of the phallus, which is very traditional in weddings.
Yes, it is. It is. Fair enough.
It's also a big fat radio tower.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a restaurant up there too. I haven't been there though.
No, I think that's sweet. So we've got
Thank
some
you.
comments going on here. We have Sliffer that said we put her up on the screen that she had that Jordan had exposed law like no one else. And I forgot, I can just do this. There you are, Micah. Oh, that's a really cool thumbnail you got there, mister. Want to tell us about that real quick?
Truth Seeker made it for me one day. He
Oh,
was like,
Truth
your
Seeker
channel,
made that.
he was like, your channel is growing. You can't just, because I'm horrible with computers. I really am. So it's not even bad with computers. I'm good with computers. I'm just bad with like artsy stuff. That's not really my thing. And
Artsy stuff. Is that what you call it? No wonder you're bad with it.
yeah, that's what I call it. Artsy stuff. Yeah. So yeah, he made it for me, and then I just basically used it, and that's where we're at right now.
Oh, good. Well, I just got an update from my friend Nick Tushane that he's doing fine, because I have been thinking about him quite a bit. Just let him know that. But something told me not to text him. Something told me he's doing his own thing and he's cool. So I just got some confirmation, and that's really good. So what is Truth Seeker doing tonight instead of being with us?
He texted me. He said he just got back in town, and I know that he's been recording a new album.
Ooh, how exciting.
And I know this because the day he went on Coast to Coast, that afternoon. So the story behind Truth Seeker and I is basically this, is that he was one of the people I reached out to do a podcast with. And because I reach out to everybody. And we went on and we had it, and that was it. And then we started chatting here and there. And somehow it came up that he had never been on Coast to Coast. And he sent me this story. He's like, I tried a publicist. I tried this. I tried that. I was like, dude, I have a connection to Coast. So I introduced him to my connection at Coast to Coast, Richard Syrett, who fills in for George Norrie, because I'd done his podcast a bunch of times. And Richard is a Christian, and Truth Seeker is a Christian mystic. So they had a lot to talk about. And he invited him on Coast, and Truth Seeker was thrilled. And then like 2 years passed, and then Richard came around and asked us both to go back on. And the day that he asked to go back on, he told me he was working on a new album. And he didn't play any for me, but he read me some of the lyrics, and he actually name dropped me in one of the songs, which I'm super thrilled about, and I can't wait to hear it. So yeah, he got really excited that day that he goes back onto Coast. Because apparently he went on Coast to Coast the first time, and he said somebody was in jail and listened to his story and reached out to him and told him that it completely changed his life. And it completely like affected Truth Seeker in such a positive way. So yeah, he just texted me. He's like, I'm back in town. I guess I don't know if he's recording or whatever, but we'll send him this link afterwards. But I'm so thrilled that you're on board to do this every single year, because no matter where we
go, real quick, that's truthseeker.com, and you can see linked below how to spell his name. So truthseeker.com. I think maybe I didn't link him below because he's not here this evening, but he is definitely linked below the old video from a year ago. Okay.
So Truth Seeker is an esoteric Christian mystic Gnostic rapper.
Oh, well, he'll tell us more in the clips that we have going on. And we
do? Okay. Well,
you guys talk about Coast to Coast.
What I can basically say about Truth Seeker is that what takes me an entire like couple of chapters to write, or even a book, to get all the esotericism out there and to teach people this stuff, he does in like one song that's 3.5 minutes long. And he's really good at it.
That's the power of music, dude.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
But also lyrics can go into books.
Yes.
Stephen King did it a lot.
Yes, he
And
did.
God is my DJ. So, and tonight's honorable song is from Cat Stevens, Wild World, because around the time of Jordan's passing, this song was really stuck in my head. And so that's why it's his song now. But
It's
he
all
was warning us.
when I hear it, I think of you and Jordan
Oh,
because it's like now attached in my brain that this is our intro song.
yeah, that's what it was meant to do. That's my MK Ultra, totally working.
It is. It is. You're conditioning me.
So Micah and I are going to do something different this evening. We are inviting you, yes, you in the chat room right now. We are inviting you to come on to stream with us. If you have a Jordan Maxwell story, whether it was in person, over Skype, or if it was just in your head because you've read so much of his work that he was communicating with you through spirit. So if you do have an interest in coming on with Micah and I this evening, I'm going to copy the link that you can join us. I'm going to put it in the chat. I'm putting it in the chat over here on Rockfin right now. That is a StreamYard link. You click on it and then you show up in the green room, and then I can introduce you and add you. I have put the link in Rockfin right now. We might put it in YouTube later, but for right now, Rockfin access only. So that's how I play the game sometimes, kids. Okay. So I've done that.
Fantastic.
Passing the ball for a minute. Passing the ball.
How did you prepare today?
Well, last night I did all of that editing, that sexy, sexy editing that I do. And I realized that from last year, I had a lot of clips that I hadn't played. So I even have extra goodies if, time allows and if we want to watch them.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Yeah, because yesterday.
And it's really nice that Jordan Maxwell's still everywhere. He's totally saturated the internet. Like Freeman Fly, you can barely find him, and you can't find him on YouTube at all. He's been Alex Jones depersoned, and that didn't happen to Jordan Maxwell. So we're very grateful, and partially because of people like you. And so, are you still working at the Santos Bonacci Institute?
I am. I actually emailed him today. We talked today because today is his birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Santos Bonacci, the man who drank his own pee.
Yes, Santos is. What they did was they have the Syncretism Society, and
right.
there's a break. They took a break from it because where they were living in Mexico, there was a bunch of like 5G towers, and they were getting sick, like really sick. So they moved to like the other side of the country, and they're still trying to set it up. They're still sick, or he's still sick. But I was going to have him on my channel in a little bit. Yeah, what I'm doing is my YouTube channel where I have all my astrotheology videos. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on a flash drive and mail it to them so they can upload it to theirs. Because I want to, in case my channel ever gets taken down, because I really toe the line. I mean, like, cross the line sometimes. But I'm actually going to have a website. Well, just with the stuff I talk about,
censorship, right?
Yeah, censorship. I'm actually having a website made.
Nice. You're not going to make it yourself? Not enough time in your life?
It's not even not enough time in my life. I'm just awful at it. It would look like it would look like an Angel Fire page from 2000.
No one even remembers Angel Fire anymore, do they?
No, or
I was on
GeoCities or
Spree.
something. GeoCities or whatever.
GeoCities.
I was like 16 years old and I made this like basic Angel Fire Monty Python page. And it was awful, but I loved it. You could put a song, I had a background.
I bet it rocked.
Yeah, but I have a website and I actually have a domain that I'm going to take. It's going to be called pleasedebunkme.com.
Oh, wow. You're so controversial.
Which is what I've been asking to do, what I do on my YouTube channel. I've been asking people, I say, look, with the work that I do, if you disagree with me, I will platform you. So
yeah,
if you want to do that, and to this day, nobody has. I've searched the internet. Nobody has made a debunking video of any of my stuff that I've done in the last 3 years. Nobody has.
But you expected someone to.
It would have been interesting too, because I go into this and all the work that I do, hoping someone could debunk it and make me see things differently. You know what I mean? Like, I go into this with that mindset. I don't go into this with the mindset that, because like what I've started to get into is I'm really starting to find some really wild stuff. And I'm convinced that nobody else has seen the way that I do things. Like, yeah, there's astrotheologists out there, and yes, they point to the constellations and they do this, but the way that I do it, nobody really does it. Nobody has a series of books that can go out there and teach people this stuff while keeping them entertained in a story. And yeah, so I'm gonna have that website, and then hopefully one day someone comes on. But to this day, no. I've had 2 interactions. One was with Jacob from Cult of Conspiracies podcast. I did his podcast, and then I invited him on to debunk my work. And he's a very nice guy, and we just had a nice conversation back and forth, but he really didn't debunk anything. One of the things that they usually say, the religious people, is that my work strengthens their faith. And I don't understand that for the life of me, but that's what they say. So I'm like, all right. I mean, I'm blatantly telling you that it's not real, but if that's what you want to believe, whatever. So I had him on, and I did a video with a guy named Esoteric Thoughts, who passed away recently. With a pastor named Julian King Brown, and it was just a manslaughter. He couldn't defend his points. He couldn't do it. So I'm looking for someone that can legitimately go through my work and tell me where I'm wrong, to learn.
Yeah, you're Lancelot looking for someone to best your sword.
I would love to.
I think a lot of us feel that way, though, just in general. Content creators of the spiritual nature, I believe that we feel that way. If there's a better way, let us know. That's the true secret.
I'm always evolving. I'm always learning. I'm always evolving, and I'm always learning. And
exactly.
I think you can't stop.
But when you know something, you know it. Like Mark Passio says, when you know something, and that's gnosis, that's the wisdom that we gain. And that Jordan Maxwell, all you have to do is sit down for an afternoon with some tea and play Jordan Maxwell back to back on YouTube. And it's such an educational experience, and it enriches the soul. And I do encourage those people out there who haven't seen a lot of his lectures to do that, because he was also a contemporary of, predecessor of, I don't know the wording, but of Manly P. Hall, who we all know is a freaking genius.
When Manly passed away, he gave Jordan his library,
which burnt down.
Which is insane to me.
Yeah. I mean, it was a great honor to have Manly P. Hall's library, but it burnt down. This is what Freeman tells me, because he still cries over it, that the warehouse was burnt down the books were burnt down in a warehouse fire. But Freeman had offered safe harbor in his home for the work. So that, that's like rumors I heard straight from Freeman.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how like the most compelling wisdom always seems to get lost in a fire?
Well, we can say that it's Troy repeating itself over and over again. It's the trauma of Troy. I know you all feel it out there. Oh my gosh, Scott Cook. Okay, so pause, hold the phone. Wow. My good friend, I will say.
Oh, wow.
Scott Cook. Has tipped us an extremely large amount, a beautiful 00100. And I thank you so much for that, Scott. We all do, from the bottom of our heart. And we are pleased that you are in the chat room with us this evening. Wow. So thank you.
That's fantastic.
It is fantastic. It's very generous and kind and sweet. But I don't know if you'd want me to say that, so I'll shut up.
Okay. I've got some people coming in. I made a couple of, I promoted this a little bit, and some people that follow my channel are starting to get into the YouTube chats.
Thank you. Yeah, we're also over, if you want to retweet, guys, I am at Occult Priestess on Twitter. And Micah Dank is at Real Mr. Dank on Twitter. Is that right, Micah?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
We're shouting out to Sue over there in the YouTube chat. Sue Tay. That's a cute name, actually. So we're getting a little bit of what's that called? Social right now. I think Scott really opened the floor on that one. Like, wow. And also, we do want you to know that we have opened the StreamYard for anybody who wants to come on in. You can join Micah and I, and you don't have to be on camera if you don't choose to be. You could be voice only is what we call that. And I'm putting the join link now, the StreamYard link, in the YouTube chat. And we do have a poll over in the YouTube chat. And the poll asks, were you present at the Jordan Maxwell live stream last year? At 29%, we have yes. At 43%, we have no. And at 29%, this is my first time here. So first timers, hello, I'm Occult Priestess, and this is Micah Dank, and we've done a lot of work together if you want to look on either of our channels over the past 2 years. Where can we find Freeman Fly's work? That is a question by Sliffer. There we go. And that is freemantv.com. I do Freeman's Facebook. So that's me. You don't have to worry. That's just me. But if you want to get a hold of Freeman himself, then you want to see at Freeman TV on Twitter, right? And he's on Stitcher, Spotify, all the other players. So there we go. Big shout out and big plug for Freeman Fly, pretty fly for a white guy.
So I didn't ask you this last year, but I'm going to ask you this now. What was the first, because it's crystal clear to me, what was the first time you heard Jordan?
Oh gosh, wouldn't it have been on Coast to Coast AM, possibly as a teenager or an early 20-something kind of girl. And it was his wordplay that got me in the very beginning, at the very first start, when he would say semen, and it would be men of the sea, but it would also be ejaculated semen from like sperm. So it's like, wait a minute, and that got my mercurial mind going. I mean, all you need is a little spark with me, and that was like a poetic Mad Hatter type of spark that lit in me that day. And I'm sure that I was a young lady at the time.
When I first started getting into him, I became obsessed with his work. And before I found out that he had been poached, I went to jordanmaxwell.com and I bought like a ton of his DVDs.
Wow.
And I just watched them, but I didn't realize it wasn't going directly to him.
Oh, right. That was such a drama.
Yeah, there was
for years.
Oh man, the last time I talked to Jordan, we were FaceTiming, and he didn't really remember who I was. So he was lying in bed, and his friend, I think his name was Brian, was there filming, so Jordan could see. Jordan couldn't really remember me, but he was just like, I appreciate you. He kept telling me to go to his website, and he started talking about maritime law, and it's really made its way. The thing that's so remarkable about Jordan is that, and I talk about this in my work too, is you can't just pop in the search engine and pull up the first thing that you see, and that has to be it. You have to do your homework, like Jordan says. You have to do your homework. And you have to do your homework. And Jordan did his homework because he started doing this in 1959. 1959. He started doing this by going to the library and going through books and piecing it together that way. And then he took his, how many years would it have been? Like 53 years worth of research by the time it got to me, and condensed it into these videos, and I basically benefited from this man's 53 years worth of research. And there it is. Yeah, that was one of the last times I talked to him. And Truth Seeker, when I was telling you how I got him on Coast, Truth Seeker is the one that introduced me to Jordan. And we got on a call, and I sent Jordan a video, and he told me that my work was remarkable or outstanding, sensational. That's what he said. He called it sensational. And we would talk here and there, and then not too long after, he had a stroke, and then he came back on to Skype, and he sent me a message, and he said, "I'm home recovering with a pacemaker, but when I feel better, I'd like to talk to you again." He was really happy with what I was doing, and in my first book that I wrote, he is the first name in the first book of the dedication page too, and then Santos is too. But Jordan's video. One day I'm scrolling on the iPad that just came out in 2012. One day I'm scrolling on the iPad, and I come across one of his videos, and I almost didn't click on it because it was like 2 hours long. I was like, I don't know about this. And I don't even remember what it was titled, but I clicked on it, and it was him in the yellow jacket, and he was giving a lecture with those glasses, and he was talking about Saturn and how everything goes back to Saturn. And at first I was like, I'm not so sure about this. But then he got to the point where he was talking about in his lecture, the man with the water pitcher in the Bible, and that's Aquarius, and to follow him to his house because Pisces is ending. And it opened my mind. And then shortly thereafter, I found Santos, someone who I no longer talk with because he ended up becoming a Christian. Sent me a link to Santos. It was called Know Thyself Part 2. And those were the two first videos that I ever saw. And now I'm doing what I'm doing. It's that simple. And I'm not doing anything that none of y'all can't figure out.
Isn't that the truth?
I'm just some dude on Long Island that's figured some shit out. That's all I am.
You put in the effort.
Yeah. And it is so rewarding. And it is just, I love what I do. If I didn't have the upbringing that I had in the religious community, if I wasn't raised Jewish, and I couldn't read Hebrew, and I didn't have the upbringing of like a conservative Jewish household, and it never really sat with me. But if my parents weren't who they were, then I wouldn't be who I am. And I think that's an important lesson for you guys all to learn, is if I can give you guys some wisdom in my 40 years here. As Priestess laughs at me.
Oh no, I'm just welcoming in my mind Chris Graves of Get Mad with Chris Graves podcast. I'm welcoming him into the chat. Welcome, Chris Graves. It is good to see you this evening. And then could you address this, please, Micah?
What?
No, I think you meant your friend turned into a Christian.
Yes, my friend turned into a Christian, not Santos.
Yeah, that shocked me for a minute there too.
Santos talks about this. Santos was a knock on the door Jehovah's Witness for 20 years.
I was born Jehovah's Witness. That is wild.
Yeah.
Okay, so Chris Graves, Tom Cooper, hey, you guys, we have put the link in the chat. I will do it again. If you guys want to come on over into StreamYard, whether you want to be on camera or just voice, talk about our good friend and mentor, Jordan Maxwell. That's definitely the subject matter this evening. So please come on in and join us here in StreamYard. You can talk with Micah Dank and I. So that's really cool. I did want to get to a few of the clips now. I've clipped up the clips so that they're spaced out so that we can do chatting in between.
Yeah.
And it'll make it really easy for you and I. So we'll start a little bit of the clip. I think this one's like a 2-minute, and then we'll come back to the chat and questions. And maybe we'll have somebody joining us in the live stream, which would be really cool.
That means, but that literally he is eternal through our words and through our beliefs and through our impact. And we pay that homage and pay that forward. it means so much.
Yeah.
It's the true passing of the torch in the
Yes.
traditional ancient mystery school way, right?
And it's
For
even
sure.
more so amazing if you think about it, guys. He's been doing this. He did this since 1959. Can you imagine? We have the internet where if we dig deep enough, we could find true astrotheology. And now we've got people like Santos and people like me or people like Truth who talk about it. But to think that Jordan would pretty much go through encyclopedias and go to the library to put this all together is insane to me. Like, how do you even begin that? That's insane to me.
I agree. We're honoring all of him, like his entire life, his mission and how he did it and how he pulled it all off.
It was different, you know, and it's going to be different for the next generation to come. You know, what are they going to do? You know, when it's, you know, we're entering times where people are stepping into the conversation of just holding a book and getting the download of what that information contains. Like, you know,
I don't
it's
know.
Really crazy.
It's called osmosis.
Yes. I don't know if you guys feel the same way as I do, but between him and Santos, they changed my life. And I was lucky enough to, I do teach for Santos' syncretism school right now. And because of Truth, you know, I helped him get on Coast to Coast. And then when he found out I wanted to talk to Jordan, he facilitated that. Me and Jordan developed a friendship towards the end of his life. And it meant the world to me. And I don't know how you guys feel, but I mean, Truth, you being like an esoteric rapper and a mystic and everything, and me as an astrotheologist and what I do, I hope that what I do is not that I'm recognized for what I do primarily. I hope that what I do is inspire someone else to have that flame lit like Jordan lit under me, and then go beyond anything that I'm teaching and go and really like wow me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to inspire people to the same. I don't know if you guys feel that same way, but that's kind of how I feel.
Well, what does inspire mean? Let's go to Maxwell School and look at etymology. In spirit, you know, it's inspired, put that fire into others, but it's really just igniting that spark. If they have to have that little jewel within, and then you come by with your flaming fire and that lights up their jewel and they can see it for themselves.
True.
Man, his most people don't get it. Most people don't get it, you know, and that's what Jordan got.
Yes.
Jordan got that most people don't get it. And it was a common bond that, you know, I think that we all share. You know, what's understood doesn't have to be explained. Mm-hmm. And the beauty of what Jordan, I think, represented for me was like him studying what they're trying to keep secret from us, mm-hmm, and giving it to the masses. They think you're too stupid to get this, but here it is. How many of you can get it, right? Those kind of things. And so, which is what, like, I think spirit teaches us, you know. So Jordan was definitely, tapped into that from a generation before us, which goes a long way. You know, the clergy doesn't think that you're smart enough to know who the ancient gods are. Mm. The Catholic Church is worshiping the ancient gods, but you get religion.
Amen Ra, brother. Amen Ra.
The Freemasons are worshiping the ancient gods, but you get tradition. You get, mm-hmm, signs and symbols. And so Jordan was like, no, let me bring to the public, let me bring to the table what these people are hiding from the masses and who they're, mm-hmm, really worshiping and what Christmas is really about, what Easter is really about, where it comes from, the origin, because these people think that you're too stupid to get it. And the weird thing is that they're kind of partly right. The masses don't give a damn about these things that we hold so beautiful. and we want to know the origins. We want to know where these things came from, and Jordan did too. And
They're sacred.
He
It's
did
the
the
sacred.
work.
It's the sacred versus the profane, and
Yeah.
that is the muggles versus the magicals.
Yeah, he did the work and just gave it to us and said, "Hey, let the cards fall where they may."
Mm.
And
you
it
know
fell
what?
upon our.
And there we are. That was how the clips are going to go this evening.
So a couple things. Number one, I need new material because I literally said something and you just played a clip of me repeating it.
I was like, you're stepping on my clip.
You gotta like nudge me under the table if something like that happens. Yeah, so there's that. Number two,
We're not in Vegas, baby. It's okay.
that's fine. That's fine. Can we talk about that comment that we got in Rockfin real
Yes,
quick?
please let me put it up here in the Rockfin chat. We got a good question here.
What's both of your favorite Jordan Maxwell teaching? I know there's too much to choose from. So for me, as somebody who has binge watched his work, I will have to say the thing that always get me every single time is the pictures that he finds, that he illustrates. The pictures that he finds, these ancient pictures, or these symbols, the way he does his symbol work, that always gets me. That's not what I do. That's not really what my work is, but what his ability to do that is. I mean, there was one. Oh God, there was one DVD that I have. I still have them, but there was one DVD that I had that I played it, and he went for 20 minutes to talk about the Son of God versus the Son of God, and he went through like 20 minutes of showing the SON of God in like different billboards and things for churches, and then he showed different SUN of gods, and he mixed them in together. He blended them so that you could see that the sun and the sun. See, that's where you get a lot of people off, like in our kind of work, in astrotheology. When you tell people the sun or the sun, one of the first things their brain does, for people who don't really know this, is they'll go, those are English words. We're talking ancient. The English wasn't there. That's not what it was called. It's just a play on words now. You're making something up. That's what they'll usually go for, but that's not the case at all. It is a play on words, yes, for English, for sure, but it's the word itself. And a lot of people don't seem to get that. But Priestess, I was talking about the other comment that I just replied to. You are my best friend.
Oh, well, I can't show Rockfin comments. I'm so sorry, but I did see that somebody was very surprised by your age.
Yeah, I'm turning 40 in 6 months. That made my night. That made my night. I want to frame that.
Non-attachment, my friend, says the Buddhist. To be non-attached. I'm going to turn 50 next year with Alex Jones, and I'm working on being non-attached to my age and what that says about me. So, hey guys, any of you guys in the chat room going to come join us? I've put the links up, and all you have to do is press it. So we'd love to see you this evening if you care to join us.
You know what, Priestess? Why don't you answer the question? What's
I
your
loved
favorite
his
Jordan
wordplay. For me personally, it was definitely about his very mercurial wordplay. I've always been into not necessarily riddles, but things that make you think, like chew toys for the mind. And he is such a chew toy for the mind to expand it. It's like one of those stress balls. If you keep using it, if you keep using your Jordan Maxwell, your brain will grow. And that's organic and a natural talent and something that doesn't happen often.
You know, I remember watching one of his videos where he was talking about how people using his gave him credit, quoted him. So Priestess, this is to you. Apparently, I've heard rumors that the idea for the Matrix movies, not the script, but the Matrix, the whole idea behind it, was stolen from him. Do you have any info based on that? Can you corroborate that, or?
I have no information at this time that I can give without killing you. No, no. Really, the only rumors I believe I heard about that was there was a black lady who went to court and said she wrote it, but sorry, dude, I didn't hear that rumor. Did anybody in the chat hear that rumor? Come on, bring it to us if you've heard that. Do you know where you heard it, or is it just in passing?
I can't remember. I can't remember if it was him or if it was someone else. I can't, unfortunately. Just wondering, because he has been, it's like they treated him like Bill Cooper, but they never actually killed him. Do you know what I mean? Like he got.
No, they made his life really crappy.
Yes, they did. They made his life awful.
Oh my gosh, we have a guest. We have a guest. So it is Sliffer, who has been participating over there in the YouTube chat. And I'm going to bring her, I believe, on, and is voice only. So we're just everybody a round of applause for the new person joining us. That's very brave. So add to stream, and I'm going to unmute. Can you unmute your mic, Sliffer? You want to sing for us, Micah, while Sliffer learns how to unmute their mic?
I can't sing. I'm not an entertainer by any means. I can't. I'm an artist and I'm not an entertainer.
The only issue is that the mic is muted. And it's fine that you're not on camera and that you're nervous. I am getting some private chats here in the StreamYard as Sliffer comes about. So let's be patient and see if they come through. Okay, no, they're apologizing that they won't be able to do that this evening. And that's fine, dude. You tried. So grand effort. Woohoo.
Okay.
If anyone out there wants to show her the way by doing it, please do. So I'm going to let this, I have to take this off the stream. Okay. We're good.
We're good? Okay.
So we've got a very interesting comment here. If you'd like to read that out for us, Micah.
You have to understand, most people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inured and so hopelessly dependent on the system that they will fight to protect it the last 3 years.
Now, doesn't that sound like Jordan Maxwell?
Yes. Well, that's from the Matrix.
That is Morpheus from the Matrix.
That is Morpheus,
introducing Neo to the new world.
Yep. There's I don't think that I don't.
What?
I think Jordan would really have loved to see the last year, like with his work spreading a little bit more and the things that people have been coming up with. He's the genesis of this all, basically, and like, so I'm pretty good at what I do, and I share all my work. I don't charge for my work. The only thing I do is I have a book series. If you want to get it through me, you can. I also sell a flash drive that has all my digital books and all my PowerPoints. So I don't charge for it because I put it up there for people to take, but I do offer people if they want to get a little bit more information. I don't push it on anyone though. But
do you do phone calls? Do people call you for money?
No.
A lot of people do that, like authors even. They call themselves life coaches. I was just wondering if you've offered that service.
I mean, I do private Zoom lessons, I guess, or like ask me whatever you want. You know, you can book me for like an hour or 2 hours or whatever. I do that. But the reason that I do that is because I do so many podcasts. You think about it like this, like let's say I do a podcast for someone who has like 2,000 people that watch, or even 350. It doesn't even matter how many people watch, because if two of those people reach out to me and buy my book series, that's a decent amount of money.
You got your
And
act together, basically, is what you're saying.
pretty much, you only got to reach out like to 2 people, 3 people, and it flurries. To be honest with you, sometimes, some weeks I sell a ton of books because I sell the sets. I don't sell individual copies because it messes with inventory. I sell the sets and I sign them and I'll personalize them or whatever. But if I'm going to be doing a Zoom call, it means I'm not going to be doing a podcast that night. So I'm trying to like fill it
Oh,
in.
well, that makes sense. It's totally cool.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
just
so-
curious,
Yeah,
professional
no, I do
curiosity.
that.
So we've got Chris Graves over in the Rockfin chat, and he said that he tried to reach out to Chuck Ocelli of the Ocelli Effect to come on this evening with us, talk about Jordan Maxwell, because apparently Chuck Ocelli of the Ocelli Effect did a whole series with Jordan before he passed. But Chuck is actually doing his own show this evening. So I'm marking it in our calendar that next year we invite Chuck Ocelli onto the show when we're honoring Jordan Maxwell again. Also, I would like to say hello and good evening to our good friend and nice tipper always, Ian. Thank you so much for being here, Ian. We appreciate you. And back on that Matrix thing, Chris Graves says, I know Harlan Ellison sued James Cameron for the Terminator and actually won. So that's just a little bit of pop culture there for you kids tonight. Oh my gosh, we do have a guest. Thank you for being patient, everyone. This guest is not unknown to my audience. Just a couple weeks ago, I did a show with this gentleman, and I just talked all about Ocelli, which I think we'll bring up again here in a minute, because it is Get Mad with Chris Graves.
How are you? How's it going?
Hey,
Yeah, no,
Chris Graves, please meet Micah Dank. Micah Dank, please meet Chris Graves.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
I want to let you guys talk for a minute. I got to do a thing.
I gotta do a thing.
I gotta go do a thing.
Well,
I feel like she just set us up on a blind date.
yeah.
She just totally just disappeared. She's like, I gotta go. Yeah. So, how are you?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is Chris Graves, and he has a show called Get Mad, and he's working with, kind of like you work with Santos Bonacci's situation, he's working with the Ocelli Effect. So please tell us all about it there, Chris Graves.
Well, Chuck Ocelli, he's at Ocelli.com, and he's my producer of that show, Get Mad with Chris Graves. Yeah, he just got back online because his computer got fried under mysterious circumstances. So we're back up and running again, and I'm waiting for OP and Chuck to do a whole show on paganism. I'm really looking forward to that because, like my buddy Chuck, he doesn't get to talk about that too much on his own show, The Ocelli Effect. But I wanted to ask you, sir.
Yes.
What is, I missed it, so forgive me if it was already brought up. Do you have a connection with the late Jordan Peterson? Because I know my buddy Chuck, he actually did like a 25-part series with
mean
That's
Jordan
Maxwell, Jordan
Not
Maxwell.
Jordan Peterson.
I'm an idiot. I am a complete idiot, and my brain is fried. That I meant Mr. Maxwell, not Peterson. Sorry.
I was like trying to work it out in my mind how that would work as a joke, but it was like not coming to me.
No, it's been a long week. Sorry.
Jordan was the first person that introduced me to this. I saw a video of his.
Yeah.
and it sparked everything. And now I'm one of the best at this. It changed my life completely. It put me on such a better path. And then I got to know him towards the end of his life.
Wow.
I got to know him. Yeah, we had plenty of wonderful conversations, and just a great guy.
Yeah, no, I'll be honest with you. I'm going back and looking at Mr. Maxwell's work, not Mr. Peterson. Mr. Maxwell, Jordan Maxwell. Chuck's gonna kill me now. But I feel like
I have no doubt that Chuck will actually kill you.
yeah. If you hear his voice, yeah. No, but I'm wondering if it's kind of like how I feel about like the late Bill Cooper and the late Dave McGowan. You know, it's one of those things where I wish I had been able to meet them and actually get to know them, but they were already passed away, obviously. So
I never physically met him in person.
okay.
Never met him in person.
Yeah.
But I did get to know him pretty well thanks to Truth Seeker. He facilitated it, and we became very friendly. I would send him my work, and I would send him the videos, and he would watch them. And he was a big fan. I think this is going to sound very egotistical, but I think that the way that when I would talk to him, I would get this feel, because he would tell me I'm not going to be around forever. He wouldn't even say I'm not going to be around forever. He'd be like, shit's happening and I'm going to be dead. Like, that's what he would tell me. Right. So
wow.
I was like, yeah, okay. But I got
it wasn't bullshitting, right?
No, but the way that I teach things and the way that I handled him, and I told him about my book series, and I told him about this, I feel like he felt like he passed the torch, and I felt like he could relax, because I feel like for him, this is me extrapolating information just based on my calls with him and talking to him, but I really feel like he looked at me as this like young kid. Yeah. Who really has a grasp on this, who's teaching this in a new way, and he could just kind of let go a little.
Right.
You know what I mean? I felt like he kept this so close, because I mean there's a lot of brilliance going on in that man's mind, and I think one of the most relaxing feelings is when you don't have to carry the torch yourself anymore.
Right. When you have other like-minded people surrounding you and kind of back you up.
Yeah.
You know, no man's an island, I think, is an expression.
The priestess, you know, I
did meet Jordan Maxwell.
Oh,
and
wow.
I just wanted to show you. I hugged the life out of him. I gripped that man so hard because I knew, you could tell by looking at him, but I knew beforehand he doesn't get a lot of love. Yeah. And so I threw myself at him. And I got to meet him a couple of times, which was really great.
Wow.
Oh, we're moving with Micah. Moving with Micah Dank.
That's usually what I do.
We're doing 2 hours, so I'm going to go have a cigarette.
Oh, please do. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Please do. That's a good idea.
I do that as well on various podcasts.
I try not to anymore. I really don't. But this is a different feel for tonight.
Yeah.
You know, this is the kind of thing
where casual with what we're doing.
And I'm all out, so I'm envious right now. And I don't know if that's healthy for me, but anyway, yeah, so I appreciate you having me talk about, like I said, if Chuck didn't have his Friday night show right now, I'm sure he'd be right here, because I just sent him the links and everything, but he would, you know, he has his little gig going on Friday nights, but he did a whole series with Mr. Maxwell. And I think he was starting to tell you about that too, OP, at a certain point, like after the show.
I find these days I don't have a lot of time for the networking, because I'm working so hard on the product itself and getting out there. And that's the problem, isn't it? Working too much. So, because we do need to be making these connections, because they're actually the most important part of this whole scenario. We make the art to attract the right people to do the work, right? So, but I found myself, I'm in the dungeon working all the time, clink, clink, clink. But
are you a perfectionist?
Say again.
Are you a perfectionist?
A bit, but I'm a Buddhist, so I've learned to let things go and non-attachment and all that good stuff because I'd never let anything out.
Right. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah, no, I'm glad because every time that you're on, I'm informed by Mr. Tom Cooper, and
Thank you, Tom.
I started a new podcast with Tom. It's more humor
Yes.
based, a little dirty. We might scale that back a little bit just because I've gotten some concerns,
Well, scale
But-
it back for me when I come on. I'm such a prude.
No. I mean, like I had this thing where I was reading like dirty jokes and like stupid things like
It's
that.
limericks.
Yeah, dirty limericks, all kind. But with a conspiracy bent.
That's the important part.
It's conspiring with Mr. Cooper, a little cutesy.
Oh, what's the name of the show? Is that the show?
Yeah, it's a little cutesy take on the
I
Hanging
love
with Mr.
that.
Cooper from back in the day. Remember, there was a sitcom
Bill
back in the day.
Cooper.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Well, yeah, it was a TGIF sitcom. Do you remember that? Hanging with Mr. Cooper, and he was like,
Vaguely. I'm
yeah,
so
yeah,
old.
that's how old I am. No, I'm very old, but yeah. So
I was a kid.
I remember
yeah.
Charles in Charge.
Charles in charge of our days and of our nights. I want Charles in charge of me.
Chuck Cocelli in charge.
Yeah, Chuck Cocelli in charge. That's a scary notion. But
So I want to get you guys to hold on
Sure.
for a minute, and we're going to go through those clips again because I made them, and so here we go.
We must.
We must. There's no question about it. Any moment now.
You come a little bit further and take that next step and a little bit deeper, and you ask and you think and you wrestle with those things, but then in the end you're blessed because you finally get, wow, this is what this man gave his life for.
Totally.
He gave his life for this stuff, and he really believed in it.
And his delivery of his information, the way he delivered it, was so perfect because it was from a place of knowing, and it was a place of he didn't give a shit who thought that he wasn't right. He was, you better wake up, you better go do your homework. I remember the first video I saw of him where he was talking about how everything goes back to the planet Saturn. And I had never even heard of that. Like, I was on my spiritual journey since I was in my 20s. And I'd never heard of anything until that video that I watched him, and he talked about everything. And then he talked about that verse in the Bible where the disciples go and ask Jesus, when you're gone, where do we celebrate the next Passover? And he tells them to go into town and find the man with the water pitcher. He linked that to Aquarius. That was the very first part of astrotheology I ever learned. And that was back in about 2013, 2012 that I heard that. And it just snowballed from there. It changed my whole life,
One more thing I'd like to get through before we get into the chatters, because I think this will open everyone up emotionally and get us in the groove completely. In Hermetic tradition, Jordan Maxwell calls him as he sees him, with his third eye and right brain on high octane. Seamen of the current sea of confusion, words cast spells. The subconscious takes in both meanings, while in most cases, the ego recognizes only that which is logical. There are many, many Maxwells everywhere copying his work and even passing it off as their own. Yet, he's here to stay in one form or another. The work is immortal. All hail the great work of Jordan Maxwell, now angel number 1477 in the ranks of Archangel Michael. You may pray to Jordan or for him as you see fit. Most blessed transition, our teacher and friend, Jordan Maxwell. And now we're coming. Mike is in transition. I don't want to dox you, dude. Let's not dox Mike.
It was excellent.
Yeah, you guys have to find a house with a door in it.
As always.
Okay, that'll be our next clip. Okay, welcome back.
You know, you did it again, Priestess. You played a clip that I just talked about earlier.
I know. I was giggling. I was watching you giggle at yourself.
That was great.
It's pretty funny. But you know, oh man, I shouldn't say it. But I've noticed that on a lot of shows with you, Micah, when I'm on a show with you. So, but you know what? Freeman does it too. There's stories that are worth repeating. And so you got to repeat them. And that's just the nature of the beast, dude. How do you like that pep talk?
Love it. Love it.
I love that Chris is here because, in my opinion, he's fairly new. Right, Chris?
Well, I'm almost 40, so that's debatable, but yeah. You mean here in the alt to the alt?
Yes, but actually what Chris really understands that I know of is the Columbine stuff, false flag stuff, things like that. Do you want to talk about that real quick, Chris? I wouldn't mind hearing it.
Well, yeah, how do I put it? There were more than just 2 shooters at Columbine. I know a few people that I know 2 in particular that have said that exact thing. One I'll say is her name is Jennifer Small, and she's in the police reports. You know, she has a witness statement and everything. And if you go through her witness testimony, you can kind of see how they're trying to get her to change her story, because she ended up seeing an adult shooter that was with Dylan Klebold at a certain point during that tragedy, trying to calm him down. And she saw the Dylan and this older, muscular, military type adult shooter holding a sawed-off shotgun with Dylan, and she saw it through a small window in the door of the classroom in the science hall where she was hiding, you know, and that was the same classroom where the teacher, Dave Sanders, actually bled to death, you know, waiting for the SWAT teams to come in 3.5 hours, and he could have been saved, but he wasn't. So yeah, she saw some weird stuff. She saw bodies in the school where officially later they said that they had passed away or were murdered in the library of Columbine. So basically she was telling me on my podcast, Get Mad with Chris Graves at ochili.com. It was my very first episode. That bodies were being moved around that day, you know, to the library where officially most of the murders took place. But her and a lot of other students, and you can look at the thousands of pages of police reports and witness statements, you'll see that there were bodies all over that school. But the only way you can really claim that there was only 2 teenage boys that were the shooters is if most of the deaths are actually in one place, like the library, not strewn about this vast high school. And there were witnesses, a lot of witnesses, that saw between 3 and 10 shooters on scene. And originally in the local media in Littleton, in Colorado, it was described as a possible hostage situation, a terrorist attack by the whole Trenchcoat Mafia. But besides that, there were witnesses who saw masked shooters. And officially, Eric and Dylan weren't wearing masks. So I don't know. It was definitely an operation of some sort. And if you look back, it's definitely the 9/11 of school shootings. And it keeps getting referenced, even with stuff like Sandy Hook.
That's what I was going to ask you about next, dude.
They always say that. Yeah, they always use that. It's the 9/11 of school shooting. It wasn't the first school shooting, but it was like the 9/11. This was chosen to be featured over and over again. And I'm not talking about the anomalies or the other shooters and stuff. I'm talking about the official story kept being in the press and on TV over and over and over again.
It messed with me big time. I was on the news about it because I wore a trench coat.
I did too, off and on around that time, and I got a lot. Can we use certain phrases here?
No, we're on YouTube.
Oh, on YouTube. Okay. So I'll just say I got a lot of fecal matter because of
Well,
like
when you and I do our own show over on Rockfin, it will not be censored, but we will
Okay.
definitely talk about all of this. I'm so
I'm glad
excited
I
to
asked
talk about
before I said anything else.
Me too.
Good,
So,
good.
yeah,
But
it's
that's
a
a rabbit
subject
hole.
I'm passionate about it.
Yeah, that one's a rabbit hole that a lot of people forgot because 2.5 years later, September 11th, 2001 happened, and then the War on Terror. So, yeah. Anyway, sorry. I hope that didn't bring everyone down, but that's something
Hey,
I've been
man, the
looking
truth is the truth. We all what's what we're here for. We don't
That's
care
true.
as long as it comes.
Yeah. Micah, what do you think of that?
I mean,
Depressing, I know.
they talk
Well,
about
I agree
they
with
talk
it.
about
Yeah.
when they talk about Sandy Hook. There's so many reports of
Yeah.
another shooter that ran off into the woods.
There were actually up to 6 of them, including people dressed like nuns in a purple van that got away, and it's on the police radio.
We figured this out on our last live stream. I don't remember where it was, who I was talking to. Oh, it was with Addy Ads and Freeman Fly.
Right.
But the thing is the reason why we know the conspiracy the day of or the day after is because we're watching it live on like 6 or 7 different networks. Independent journalists are there usually. And so that's why we know what we know as soon as we know it.
I was too, because I was already ingrained with that Columbine research and things like that.
But I stayed away from Sandy Hook because Columbine messed me up big time, like psychologically and emotionally. And I never really truly got over it. So I stayed away from Sandy Hook while it was going on. Afterwards,
you were all the better. You were all the better for it because it was a different kind of false flag.
I was 16 when that happened. I was in high school.
Wow. I was a full-grown adult for real.
Yeah, I was already like 82 in 2012. So, I'm very old. I feel every year.
No, I was talking about Columbine, not Sandy Hook.
Yeah, that was like 62. So, yeah, that's about 20 years before. No,
I wasn't long out of high school after Columbine, and I was a trench coat wearer. And but my argument was that trench coat wearers, goths, are not violent. In fact, we're extremely anti-violence. So it didn't make sense to me that these boys were claiming that symbol.
No, I liked the trench coat because of Silent Bob, Jay and Silent Bob.
Right, exactly. Well, it's
Batman. He has a cape, and I was a fat guy. And Sam Kinison, he would hide the fat with a big trench coat. It was not a statement of like, I want to shoot everyone,
It's also why we wear black, because we're chubby.
So here I go. This is my suit right here. Yeah, poor man's suit here.
Exactly.
But the Sandy Hook thing, I'll tell you, a lot of people, they got in trouble with that one because, in my opinion, just studying that, it was like a false flag mixed with some weird Twilight Zone element that they would add to it with people laughing and like
satanic. It is mockery.
The hoax thing started coming up instead of what you guys were saying about the other shooters or the other suspects that were either taken into custody or got away. People weren't asking about that anymore. They were asking about, why is the coroner sitting there laughing and making jokes at the press conference? Why his parents look like they're getting into character and having a press conference like less than 24 hours after their child was just murdered? Like, none of that happened at Columbine. And I feel like
no way. Columbine was so much more serious.
You know what really freaked me out?
What's that?
Have you seen the video of the dad who's coming up to the camera to give a statement?
Yeah, and he's laughing.
Robbie Parker. It's famous.
Thank you.
Yes. I'm not saying he was. I'm not saying he was an actor, but that's what got a lot of people going. Is this a hoax or not?
Crisis actors.
Crisis actors.
I made several crisis actor memes after that.
Well, look at Boston bombing. That actually most likely had a lot of crisis actors, and Dave McGowan, the late Dave McGowan, pointed that out in a whole series of articles that he did that probably got him killed shortly thereafter. And that's
we're going to reel this in a little bit, guys.
Okay.
Because we're getting a little off track. But it's the thing is when you listen to Jordan Maxwell, it's going to spark these questions in you, and you're going to be a conspiracy theorist. You can't help it.
Conspiracy analyst. Even better.
I'm not that anal.
Just asking questions.
Understood that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
He's like, here I am.
And so today, all over the world, people are now in darkness. They know they're in darkness. They know that they don't understand how the world works. They know that they're being lied to and deceived, and that criminals are running the world, and the world is being run by criminals that are murderous, bloodletting criminals. And so people are waking up, and now they need a teacher. They need someone to help them to understand the world they live in. And so in the Bible, the Apostle Paul says in the New Testament that we have a war not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and the world rulers of darkness. That word world rulers of darkness is cosmokratoros. It's in a Greek word, which means world rulers of darkness, cosmokratoros. And it's an interesting word because it implies that the darkness that the world is in is being ruled over by certain people. Certain people are keeping us ignorant and ruling over us in darkness, so that we are totally in the dark as to how the world works, what is going on and what's coming and what has happened in the past. We don't know. So we're all in the dark.
Before we went live, I showed you my new shirt that I had made.
Yeah,
The Manly P. Hall tee,
Yep,
which
Manly
is
P. Hall.
you know what I'm saying, the man of mystery, great teacher. You were talking a little bit about how he left you some of his work and how you miss him and how he was a great mentor.
Yeah, he was a wonderful, wonderful man. I myself, just my opinion, but I think he was probably one of the greatest teachers this world has ever known in any era of time. One of the great masters of knowledge and wisdom and education that's ever lived on this earth. And I mean, going back into the Grecian Empire, the Grecian Roman Empire, and all the great minds and the philosophical teachers of the world. I know about so much of that history. I cannot fathom in my mind anyone who comes close to the work of Manly Palmer Hall. He was an incredibly brilliant man, and he never promoted any particular religious belief. He never promoted any particular philosophical or political viewpoint at all. What Manly P. Hall did was nothing short of phenomenal. He taught everyone about every religion and concept and philosophy in the whole world as a master.
And there we are. I believe that would be our last clip of the evening. And I want to thank you all for being out there in the chat rooms, those who have tipped, those who have talked, and those who are lurking. occultpriestess.com. Would you gentlemen like to give your social media a little shout out, please?
Sure. You go first, Chris.
Okay, well, just O'Shelley.com is the archive for Get Mad with Chris Graves, in which OP was one of my best guests. And
You
then
said some lovely things about me. I put it in a video later. Thank you.
There you go. Well, you're welcome, and much deserved. And then I'm also on the New Prisoners podcast with my friend Six, and that's on Rumble, Odyssey, all those platforms, in which he also puts my Digging Chris Graves show. That is a different show altogether. I'm all over the place here. So, and the Conspiring with Mr. Cooper is the latest, and that's more humor, and we're going to talk about
You're going to have more shows than Sam Tripoli.
Well, yeah, I'm supposed to be going back on there eventually for a couple of shows too, but just help me out here. Nephilim?
Nephilim.
Okay, why can't my brain say it the right way?
Because it's a naughty, naughty word.
Okay. Well, that's what Mr. Cooper wants to cover on the latest Conspiring with Mr. Cooper this weekend. So, look out for that.
Interesting topic, y'all. When are we're going to do a watch along? Who are we doing a watch along with?
Well, Six wants in, Tom wants in, probably Chuck, but
Rock.
That's about your documentary. Well, it's about the filmmaker that made your documentary who also made the documentary about the making of The Shining with
The
Clues.
Room 237 documentary. That's
So-
Rodney Asher, kids, the director of The Nightmare, which I was in. And we're talking about doing a watch along of The Nightmare with a bunch of awesome guys.
It's
Sounds
awesome.
like a great fun.
But thank you for putting the StreamYard link and letting me spout off a bunch of crazy stuff.
Well, you really added to the show, Chris, and I'm so glad you got to meet Micah Dank,
I'm glad too, and
who will be on your show next week, I'm sure.
right. Hey, if you
Priestess, don't salt my game.
and it's not Mr. Peterson. I'm an idiot.
Oh, please forget
Jordan
about
Maxwell.
that. It is forgiven.
Thank you very much.
I've made the
You saw
same
when
mistake.
when she came on, she was like, "Hey, you guys both have beards. You're both 40. Bye."
The blind date, yes. It's my Libra moon. I'm always setting people up.
Well, there you go. I mean, yeah, I was actually almost chopped it off today. I don't know why, because I'm sick of getting food caught in it. I put the leftovers in the fridge, not my beard.
That's right.
Lose
And
my
we want
keys
to
in there.
also thank my we want to give congratulations and love to Micah Dank, who is having his anniversary tomorrow. What are you guys' his marriage anniversary? What are you guys going to do?
We're gonna go out to a restaurant. That's pretty much it. We're gonna go out to a restaurant, come home, watch some TV.
Well, we're sending you lots of good vibes for great sex.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting to.
Thank you.
Sorry, she read my thoughts. Anyway, congratulations, sir.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
she's a
Appreciate
cutie.
it.
I think I've seen him in a profile picture with her. Yes, seen her. She is a cutie. But she doesn't want anything to do with this, so we won't talk about her.
Right. I know how that's like. Yeah.
So, oh my goodness, thank you so much. My beautiful friend Nick Duchesne in the chat over in Rockfin has tipped us a hot $20. Thank you so much. And he's talking to us. I'm going to read out what he said. I sadly don't have any big stories or memories of Jordan, never knew him personally. I do know he was one of the first to introduce me to the occult back in the dog days, seriously, of my mid-20s. I do feel sorry for how badly he was treated, though, in his life. We can all, even Tesla agrees with that. We can all agree with that. I sadly won't be able to stay much longer to do life's other duties. But have a great stream. Talk to you soon, Corinne. Thank you so much, Nick. I can't wait to catch up with you. So email me. That's always free to email me. And it looks like we've gotten a lot more chatters going on. So happy anniversary, says Sute. And of course, we've got Micah Danka talking back, which I call Micah sometimes.
You're the only one that calls me Danka, and no one ever else better.
So we're so glad. Yeah, seriously, because I said something that corresponded with serious. So I'd have to rewind to know what that was. But gentlemen, it has almost been an hour and a half. I want to thank you all for all of the chatters and my beautiful gentlemen guests for coming on this evening. And I'm going to give you some time, Micah Dank, to tell us where to find you.
Sure. So I am Micah Dank, and I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Micah Dank. Or on Twitter at Real Mr. Dank, spell out Mr. And also, I have a YouTube channel, Micah Dank Truth Bombs. On my YouTube channel, I've broken it down into 3 playlists just to basically filter things and make them easier. The first one is the astrotheology, which has all my playlists, all my astrotheology work. The second one is an interview section. I don't have a podcast, but I do interview people that I find supremely interesting. Priestess has been on it. I just try to bring some very unique and interesting perspectives.
You
So,
pick really cool guests, and I don't think you pick. I haven't seen any sellouts, and I'm always looking for sellouts and people who are like talking to blue avians. It's like, So you really, I enjoy your channel actually.
I have
So
the
I'm
documents.
plugging
I have
his
the
channel.
documents. The gay frogs.
thank you, Priestess. Thank you, Priestess. I really appreciate that. I
I
really
look forward to checking it out too. Very
You know,
nice.
I don't know, Priestess, and maybe Chris, maybe you're like this too. Oh, let me finish saying this too. So,
Yeah.
and my third playlist is called Short Bombs, where in 2 to 10 minutes I try and introduce you to a concept you've never heard, just some mind blowing stuff.
I think that one's fun. I
Esotericism,
like that when you throw it down.
just random stuff that I just talk
Boom,
about
boom.
random stuff. Yes, thank you. And I don't know if it's how it is, Chris or Priestess, when it comes down to it, but at least for me, I'm at a point in my life where I love myself and I'm comfortable in my ability to read people. I'm comfortable in my ability to, if I find something to be mind-blowing and interesting, then I think that other people will, and
It's a good philosophy.
I try and only share things that are going to open your mind. And I trust that my mind can transmit that to people. And that's what I usually do.
You are transmitting on full frequency, mister.
Yes, I am.
And I want to say I think I pick a peak of about 16 people over in the Rockfin chat. So that's pretty good. We had a good turnout tonight. I'm very happy about that. I am Occult Priestess at occultpriestess.com. I've been a professional psychic for over 30 years now. So I'm excellent at my job, and I will be raising my prices soon. So please get in at this early window of the very cheap prices that should have been raised many years ago. So please come check me out at occultpriestess.com, my YouTube channel /Occult Priestess, Twitter at Occult Priestess, Twitch, where I play Sims 4 games.
You're still simming it up?
Yeah, dude. I'm wondering. I'm thinking about doing a transition. Maybe I'll leave all of you and just go game and actually make money.
Someone
we had a very generous crowd this evening. I want to thank you guys.
Someone sent me a screenshot of The Sims. I don't know if it was a mod that entered.
It was.
Do you know what I'm about to say?
I do. I saw it a year ago on your Twitter. One of the Sims had gotten a promotion.
And her boyfriend rewarded her by eating her ass. And it's a picture of the guy in her bare ass. Yeah.
And the name of the mod is Wicked Whims. And the name of the modder who made the mod is Turbo Driver.
I think I know.
I know my stuff.
You actually reverse engineered that?
I don't know. I understood it when I saw it. And then all of a sudden I thought you played Sims. And so I got excited.
Did I hear that right? Was there a tossing of salad reference just now?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a graphic that Micah had the good taste to put on Twitter. I told you I'm prude.
I love it. No, I love it. I wanted to be sure I heard that. I'm like, okay, cool. Sorry.
On that note.
Priestess is like a pervert, man. She's not always doing something, but she's always watching.
I'm a voyeur because I see the future.
There you go. That's awesome.
You guys are delightful. Thank you so much for gracing my channel with your presence. And I hope to be on back on your channels soon. And Chris, you and we are doing all the Columbine, the Sandy Hook. We are going deep in that.
Send me a link on that. I want to be in the chat room for that.
That's cool. I wouldn't even mind if you were there, but I'm an Aquarius. I'm always inviting everybody to everything, but it worked out really well tonight with Chris.
You know why we get along? You're an Aquarius, right? That's my rising.
Yeah, we figured that out. We have talked about
astrology. But I'm also a Libra, and that's your moon. We share
That's right. Times. We're very compatible. Oh my gosh, one more thing before we go. Tom Cooper.
My hero.
Tom Cooper. Micah Dank. Tom Cooper.
How you doing?
Hey, Tom, Chris Graves. Nice to meet you.
How's everybody doing today?
Good. I love the sunshine in your house, Tom Cooper. You have really good lighting.
Sometimes, yeah.
'Cause I wanted to make it a goal this evening to razz Micah Dank about his lack of lighting. Lighting isn't very expensive. I can send you some
Well,
links.
how do you think I stay so young?
Please get some lights up in there, dude. But yeah, Tom, you look great.
Thank you.
So what brings you here this evening, Tom?
At the very end, Tom, just like the last show he was on, it was like the last 20 seconds.
Yeah, I kind of missed out on that one, but oh well. Yeah, just got home from work, so I thought I'd come on and say hi to everybody. I know very little about Jordan Maxwell, so it's kind of nice to learn some new stuff.
Yeah, that's why we're honoring him yearly now, so that we could keep bringing this back up, because this is a knowledge that should not be lost. Just like his mentor, Manly P. Hall, which I'll be doing some stuff on too.
I like Manly P. Hall. I've watched some of his stuff for sure.
And
Freaking amazing. Yeah.
I would say yeah, absolutely, yes.
Priestess, do you know how hard I'm gonna laugh later when I'm just thinking about how you said that you saw that picture of the Sim eating her ass, and you got excited because you thought I played Sims?
Yes, because that's exactly what you would probably do.
Me too. My safe word is don't stop. I don't know where that came from.
Tom Cooper, you must have some joy guides, because you sure brought the laughter with you, mister.
I like to laugh. It makes everyone feel better. You know what I mean?
It does, especially after a long stream, and just the levity of it all is really good.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Long stream.
So I have a question for you, OP. Not the other gentleman you mentioned, not Maxwell, but the other one. I forgot his name already.
Peter
Santos Bonacci?
Oh,
No,
Bonacci.
no. I like Bonacci. I've seen a bunch of his stuff. That dude's a G right there. He knows
Right.
his stuff. The Mason guy, what's his name?
Manly P. Hall.
Manly P. Hall. Now, was he a hermaphrodite, or is that
What?
That's a hermetic joke. That's hilarious.
Best of both worlds.
You mean, was he a hermeticist?
No, I saw a show. I saw a documentary, and the guy said that he was a hermaphrodite.
Both sexes at once, eh?
Yes, ma'am. So I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I heard.
Oh, quick. Are there any pictures of Manly P. Hall with facial hair? Go find them. But back then, when they did glamour shots, we have glamour shots, pictures of Manly where he's all airbrushed out.
Right.
But to me, he had very masculine features. I can usually tell, because normally I'm looking for it. Is that a boy or a girl? So that's interesting. But he was a hermeticist, definitely.
Yeah, no, I know that. Yeah.
Anyway,
The question threw me off guard, because we don't talk about hermaphrodites enough on my channel, honestly.
well, now that Mr.
Maybe
Cooper's
we should.
here, there you go.
We're
Also-
all mental hermaphrodites.
We are.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I have the documents, I think.
We have the documents.
I have the documents.
We're all hermaphrodites like the frogs.
Gay frogs. Inborn. No, but well, will you please do us the honor, both of you actually, would you come on our show, or would you appear on our show, conspiring with Mr. Cooper, and teach us a thing or two about a thing or two?
Most
Eventually.
definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah. Michael will do any show, anytime. Just tell him.
Just tell him, okay?
Thanks, Priestess. What did
He's
you call me that one
podcast-
time? Did you say I was a podcast slut or something?
I was just going to
Yeah,
say.
you're total attention whore, in that sense that it makes you money.
Right.
I'm just not good at it. I hate pushing myself in people's faces, and that's why it showed up to me, and that's why it keeps
People
showing
pay
up.
me to go away.
Yeah, Chris, if you wanna reach out to me, you can do it through Priestess, or reach out to me on social media. We'll set something up. I tend to like to share a presentation though, because so if I could, I don't know what streaming service you use, but I like to share a PowerPoint.
Well, you guys will get into that later behind the scenes.
StreamYard
Okay.
right here. I got the same thing going. Yep.
So
Sure.
why don't you, Chris, if you look on my Twitter, you will see that I added Mr. Dank.
Okay.
So you can get to him right there, because you can also send him private messages. He has his messages open. And that is also for the audience. If you would like to get a hold of Micah Dank personally, you also have an email that you give out, Micah.
I do. It's into the rabbit hole series at gmail.com.
Excellent. So if you have some
And a
burning questions,
website soon to be up. My website's going to be called pleasedebunkme.com.
Nice.
Nice.
that's going to be a real crowd pleaser, I'm sure.
So, Occult Priestess, we would like to have you come on and talk about magic. Actually, I'd like to do a series of things with you if that's possible.
I would love that. I love serious work. I mean, I don't really get the option. A lot of the interviewers are silly. So I'd love to do
And the fact that it's our podcast, which I just told them like a bunch of times, is humor based and dirty joke based. But yes, please, can we be serious?
Just
Well,
make
I mean,
it
we
better
can-
than Howard Stern. Other
Well,
than
no, Baba
level
Booey.
it up, kids.
Right.
I don't think this has been that dirty personally, but no, we can tone everything down if we have to. That's not a problem.
I love comedy. It's going to save the world. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we are going to get Sam Tripoli on our show at some point.
Yeah, that'll be amazing. We did mention Sam before you got here, so
And maybe
shout
Kevin.
out to Mr. Tripoli.
I've seen Micah on there before on Tinfoil
Yeah.
Hat.
People say that to me all the time. That was like 2.5 years ago.
It's a popular episode.
I've been watching Tinfoil Hat since day one.
Wow.
My
That's
work
high
has
praise.
my work has seriously evolved since then. I remember when I did his episode. Like now, I have PowerPoints. I have like 50 of them.
Yeah.
But when I did his thing, I just had a Word document with like some talking points. That's all I
You
did.
were on his
I
other
haven't
show,
even-
weren't you? His spiritual show that he does?
Oh, Zero?
No, not yet.
I was
Oh,
on Zero.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Billy,
Yeah, I
Ray
thought-
Cyrus, my other friend was on there too just now. Yeah.
Occult Priestess, you're one of the first people that I subscribed to when I joined Rockfin, just so you know.
Thank you, Tom Cooper.
You're
I don't
welcome.
have a lot of subscribers, so it means a lot to me very much.
Don't worry. Well, they should subscribe.
Thank you. I think so. But
Yeah.
also, Ian in the chat is reminding all of us that most of Manly P. Hall's work is on YouTube. And some of us even have some of those little books from the 1930s. And I will do a show and tell on that at some point. But gentlemen, it's 8:42. I would like to wrap it up. I'm expiring.
I'm about to turn into a pumpkin.
My shoe fell off and I'm about to turn into a pumpkin.
That's right. Don't
But
feed me after
Micah,
midnight.
all the praise to you, Micah, for coming up with this idea, for bringing it to me, and for making it happen. Thank you so much. And all of you gentlemen are allowed to take this video and put it wherever you like.
Nice. Thank you.
It is 8:42, and my wife just got a promotion, so I'm gonna have to talk to you guys.
He's gonna play Sims tonight, kids.
Oh, the salad thing. Okay, cross the
Yeah.
tongue. Wow, good for you. That's awesome. Anyway,
Okay, let's wave. Say good night, everyone.
Nice
Good
meeting
night.
everyone. Have a good night. Be safe.
Good night, guys. Love you.